Invincible nerds.
Welcome to our one-room apartment inside the Death Star. I'm Ethan.
I'm Francisco.
And this is Invincible Nerds. We're going to kick off our Marvel section this week with the Avenging Spider-Man #1, a very hyped issue indeed. It comes in its own plastic wrapping. Woo! It was, I don't know why, but it is. Well, it has really good artwork, which is cool, I guess, but the storyline is kind of falling flat at the moment, and it seems pretty gimmicky.
Extremely gimmicky. I mean, you pointed out, Thor is alive, Iron Man's not in his suit that he should be in.
Yeah, he's in like an extremis armor.
Definitely they did not put enough thought into this comic to care about that much.
Yeah, and like a lot of the one-liners that Spider-Man spouts out are kind of, I don't know, they're hit and miss. Some are funny.
Definitely hit or miss.
Some of them are funny, they're not, all of them are not that great.
However, the biggest thing with me is they really cast down Spider-Man, make him seem like almost like a C-level hero when he's. They treat him like shit.
Yeah, the Avengers treat him like crap in this issue. Like they look down on him, which is really.
They pretty
bad.
much treat him like a little brother who needs a ride to the mall, and you don't give him that ride. That's pretty much how they're treating him right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe issue 2 will be better, but I mean, it's an over glorified Marvel team up comic, and I mean.
For the moment, the only thing that's giving up right now is the artwork.
Yeah, so with that, I'm going to give it a 6.5.
I give it a 7.5.
Alright, next up is the Marvel one-shot titled Point One. Unfortunately, this issue is $6 and is not worth your money. It's over-glorified previews. I mean, they're cool previews, but they're just previews. Why are you paying this much money for just nothing? There's no meat to this story. You get to see some Scarlet Spider, some Nova, which it doesn't explain how he's back, by the way. And I don't know, it just really seemed like a waste of my money. It was a waste of time. I would rather just wait for the issues to come out instead of. I really wish I didn't spend money on this. Don't get suckered in like I did. It's not worth it. I'm giving it a 1. Marvel really pulled a fast one on me this week.
Now I would take you to the New Avengers issue number 18. In this issue, Norman Osborn is reassembling a new team of his Dark Avengers.
Ooh.
Consisting of Nobody Tarantula, that's going to be the new Spidey with 6 arms. The Hulk's son, Gorgon, who I don't know who he chose to be, considering he had an open option, and the clone of Thor from the Civil War.
Which we all saw get, the head destroyed by Hercules in Civil War, so them bringing it back for me was a little, crappy.
Definitely a flaw in the storyline.
Yeah, I also, for me personally, I didn't like that. I'm supposed to accept that C and D list villains that half of them we don't even know, nor do we know who they chose to emulate. They're supposed to be able to take on the actual Avengers. They're going to take on Spider-Man, Iron Man, actual Thor, or well, not at the moment actual Thor, but you know what I'm saying. It seems it's kind of a stretch.
It is a stretch. I kind of like him seeking out his new heroes. I mean, although what happens within 2 pages, I'll admit it's kind of weak, but I like it. I like his recruiting. I'm a sucker for the recruiting of a team and opposites fighting. I'm a fan of that kind of stuff. So I definitely liked it. And as far as him seeking out a new suit, I mean, it's not totally great, but it's okay.
Yeah. For me personally, this was a total rehash of Dark Avengers issue 1, which if you guys were ever reading comics back during Dark Reign, issue 1 of Dark Avengers was the exact same thing. This is no different. It's the exact same thing as rehash, and it really dragged it down for me. I didn't like it. So overall, I would say, at least for me, I'm giving it a 5.
I give it a 7.
Alright, and to wrap up the Marvel section, we are going on to issue 17 of the Uncanny X-Force. And this is the penultimate issue. Archangel is trying to plant the life seed and do some weird cataclysmic evolution thing. It's up to the X-Force to stop him, you know the drill. But it's actually a really good read. I personally loved it.
Definitely good. I just started reading Uncanny X-Force. I'm 3 issues in, and immediately I get pretty sucked in. It already feels a high tense situation.
Yeah, it's one of the few storylines where I actually feel that there is a huge world-ending challenge that the X-Force is, and it's an uphill battle, and they're not winning. They're getting decimated left and right. And it's it's really cool to actually watch the good guys losing for once. And I don't know, I thought that was like one of the big sell points for
The
me.
emotional ties, seeing Age of Apocalypse, X-Men, like when Kurt appears, Wolverine is stopped dead in his tracks.
Yeah,
As far also with Jean Grey, or Jeannie.
Yeah, like the Age of Apocalypse like starts playing like a big role in this, and it's like really nice to see them incorporate that storyline in.
It's definitely, the emotional sides of the characters definitely pop out. Oh, my one thing with the comic, there's a lot of blue in it, and at some points the artwork kind of melts together, so it's kind of hard to follow what's going on. There's times where you can tell what's going on, but as far as that goes, it just has its moments where it's hard to follow.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork didn't bother me as much as it did him, but I do see what he says. It is a bit sketchy at some points. I mean, though I personally liked it. But what I really enjoyed about this issue was the ending, the cliffhanger. It has like it's very iconic kind of pose to it. It looks really, really good.
Definitely one of the best Marvel endings in a while.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I'm gonna give this one a 9.
I got a 7.5. Now we're kicking off our DC section with Grifter, issue number 3. Issue number 3 has probably been one of the more promising past issues of Grifter. Definitely, one thing I have to say, if the brother showdown would have been developed a little bit better, given it some time to grow, it would have been that showdown they have would have definitely been a lot better.
Yeah, I completely agree. They didn't give the brother character enough time to develop. He was just introduced at the end of issue number 2. He's brought into this one and kind of offed immediately, so it kind of takes away from the scene a little bit. Like, it doesn't really give you enough room to care about that little standoff.
Definitely. As far as the action goes, there's been some really good action in Grifter, but I think issue number 3 definitely takes the cake.
Yeah, it takes action to a new level. I mean, we're in issue 2. It was more of a Grifter just trying to escape and flee
just beat
from
downs, really.
flee from the aliens. And this one, he finally takes the fight to them. So it was nice to see that.
Definitely. And
yeah, I mean the cool one-liner that every superhero or vigilante is supposed to have most of the time falls flat. Actually sets the mood for this one, and I thought it was a nice addition. Like,
it was definitely good.
But overall, I mean, the brother scene took away from it a little too much for me, but the action made up for it. I'd give it a 7.
Definitely, the brother thing was a little bit of downturn, but definitely I can see how the story is developing now, and I'm really excited to see it continue. I give it an 8.5.
Alright, we bring you to Green Lantern issue number 3, and it picks up where it left off. Sinestro is keeping Hal on the short leash. He's giving him a knockoff Green Lantern ring and forcing him to liberate his planet, which is enslaved by his old core members. But the only problem I had with it was it kind of takes a dip in quality this week. There's some very uncharacteristic moments, to say the least.
Yeah, for one, Sinestro, we don't know who this woman is, but he dives towards her, trying to protect her. Something you never really see Sinestro do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a like conflicted character, but there at the moment there's really no motivation.
He's always been this strong, solid character. He never breaks down. But here, you see a crack in his character. Definitely something you never see.
Yeah, he just kind of breaks like the plan that he established with
Pretty much.
Hal and just kind of die. I mean, it's cool that it's taking, and shining a new light on him, but it comes out at such a weird moment for me, at least, that I didn't really follow. I think probably like one of the biggest faults of this issue would be the cliffhanger, and spoiler alert, everybody. And I mean, obviously they're not going to kill off Hal Jordan, but he's trying to shut down the yellow power battery. And he's disintegrating, and as he's disintegrating and bursting into flame, he just says, "You set me up," and dies, we'll put that in quotes.
Who knows? I mean, I think maybe he's getting transformed into a Yellow Lantern. Who knows?
Yeah, the cliffhanger was weak, and the story in this particular issue just kind of fell flat for me.
The only really good thing about this issue has to be the revelation from Gannett.
Yeah, Ganthet has kind of a he kind of hints at a possible upcoming story arc, and I'm a little bit more interested in that than in this one.
It's going to be pretty interesting.
But overall, I mean, it's kind of a filler issue. Pick it up if you like Green Lantern. Hopefully, it will, the next one will pick up in quality. But this one, it's gonna get a 6.
I give it a 7.
All right, and we're gonna bring you to our top picks for the week, and I'm gonna start things off with Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 4. And so far, I love this series. There's sort of a kind of like a conflicted debate between fans about killing off Peter Parker and bringing in a new one, or not new Peter Parker, but a new Spider-Man. And I personally love the new Spider-Man. Miles Morales is a very interesting character. He's young, he has family issues, but it's not the same origin story as Peter Parker. And what sells issue 4 to me personally was the correlations of Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Whereas Peter, he kind of doesn't want to use his powers at the beginning of his origins. But it's the death of Uncle Ben that drives him to become a superhero. In this one, it goes back to the death of Peter Parker and Miles watching Peter Parker die as a heroic icon, dying, saving people, and it drives him to become the new Spider-Man. And it really sold it for me. The dialogue's amazing. There's a couple of great lines from Gwen Stacy that further encourage Miles to, that final push to put the mask on and go save people. And the artwork is fantastic. Sarah Pichelli, I hope I'm saying that right, forgive me if I'm not, is just killing it in this issue. And what I love is the pacing. It's not throwing you immediately into this storyline. It's slowly progressing, giving you kind of all aspects of the character before allowing you to accept him as Spider-Man. But this is an amazing issue, and if you're a fan of Spider-Man, you owe it to yourself to pick it up because it is fantastic. It's a great read. I loved every second of it, and this one I'm going to give a 9.5.
This week's second top pick comes from DC, and it is Batgirl, issue number 3. Although the last 2 issues of Batgirl have been pretty good, this one has definitely been the dominant of the 2. Now, what makes this so perfect? Exceptional character development.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that one. They make this a very personal story. They show you the inner workings of Barbara Gordon, her conflictions, her past, her traumas, and her drive to defeat this new nemesis.
Which, if you've been reading, he's out to undo the miracles. Those little God-given miracles that happen just in the nick of time. He's out to take those back. And I think Batgirl's taking on personally, because her being able to walk is a miracle. So she really feels like this is someone she really has to take down. It's that bar she has to break before she can really come back and beat 100%.
Yeah, and I would say one of the best moments of this issue is the addition Nightwing, and Gail Simone basically incorporates the past of her and Dick Grayson, and kind of adds like another level of character development, showing why she feels the need to do this particular mission alone. And there's a particularly interesting moment where she shows some restraint and kind of accepting, like, not so much help, but like respect. She wants to be like a very strong person, and she doesn't want to feel weak because of like maybe help or gratification from her friend.
Definitely, she's taking into account their past, their teenage years. She's showing respect and showing respect, but at the same time moving forward. Definitely, what I like about it is the believable, and it kind of grows. It's only been in 1 issue, but it already feels like it's grown on itself. The love interest and between Nightwing and Batgirl, Dick Grayson, and
yeah, and I would say in addition to that, it feels very natural. It's not forced. They don't try to force you to accept that they're suddenly rekindling some love. It's kind of like she's still crushing on them, and there's mutual feelings between the two, but they're not addressing them.
It's believable, because we've all had that one girl in school we were friends with, and that's what it feels like. They're friends that have crushed on each other. Moving forward, they kind of can't help but to look back, and Nightwing definitely shows it when he shows concern for her.
Yeah,
definitely a bit more than friend, and when they're riding together on a bike and holding onto it, they were both enjoying that.
Yeah, and again, with this series, the artwork has been phenomenal, and just the way the expressions are drawn, the dynamics, the action is very dynamic. All the scenes are really sold, and they're very picturesque. Really, really enjoy it. It sets the mood, and I think what was already great with the narrative is sold even better with the complemented artwork.
Definitely. I mean, this issue, I can't stress enough how well balanced this issue is. I find it hard to find a flaw, because it pretty much starts out, she's lost. Superheroes win a lot. In the end, they always win. But she's starting out this issue with a loss. The train that she saved got saved, but one of them is gone. So definitely she's starting out at a low point in the comic, and it's taking her the entire comic to build back. By the end of it, her confidence is up, and towards the end, somewhat. But in the end, she's going out there and taking it down on her own.
Yeah, I mean, I really want issue 4 to be out now. I mean, this is easily one of the best of the new 52. I mean, it's one of my favorites. It's like gotta be top 5. It's a great comic.
Definitely.
You gotta pick it up.
Nightwing is one of my favorite characters. One of my favorite issues for the new 52, and to see them both cross at this point is something so great. And who knows, maybe Barbara Gordon and Batgirl might cross into Nightwing. I could see some crisscrossing between stories in the future, which I would like.
Alright, score-wise, what would you give it?
I would give it a 10.
I'm going to give it a 9.5. Alright, and that's it for the comic reviews this week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at invinciblenerds.com. Be sure to check out our website, invinciblenerds.celstudios.com. There's a dash between CEL and Studios. If there's any comments, questions, comics you want us to review, your comic that you want us to review and check out, send it to us. The email is ethan@celstudios.com. There's a dash in there. Be sure to favorite the video, subscribe it, send it to your friends, do everything like that because you love us so much. And we'll catch you next week.
Definitely give us feedback. We do listen. We're not just going to ignore it. Like I said, like us on Facebook, Twitter. Check out our page. Don't forget to subscribe up there. And
yeah, that's it for the week. So be sure to check back next week. I'm Ethan.
I'm Francisco.
And we are leaving the Death Star.